This episode of Invent America Radio is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King Broadcasting Network and has been bringing you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host Rita Crompton. Discover what's next for new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As let Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today.
Hello, America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
That's right. This is the Invent America show, because like the inventor lady says, America invents. Welcome all of you to the King's Broadcasting Network. I am your co-host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, for hour number 2. But don't forget, and now I'd like to welcome the star of the show, the headliner herself. She's here with us, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, hello, my darling.
Hello, it is so good to hear everyone and see everyone. We are looking forward to the next 2 episodes because we are making in America again, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I tell you, factories are opening up, and we got a lot of people out there sharpening their tools and dusting off them factory warehouses, and we're going to make America, and we're going to build America, invent America. You know, Rita, we say this all the time. It's one thing good about this great country is that we don't counterfeit things. We don't, steal things here. We invent things. We are the originators of technology here in the United States, and that's what we do.
We are, and we solve problems. Yeah, we solve problems. We make them better.
And we can't forget that. I know sometimes we move off the straight and narrow path, but at the end of the day, we can't forget who we are, the greatness of the country itself, and it's been demonstrating right now. You know, and I know you and Greg's going to talk about that in the Made America show. Let's talk about something that I wanted to talk about and you wanted to talk about, is the patent itself.
And, so many inventors, they start out, I get patent to make money, and there's so much more to it. And for an inventor, an independent inventor, the most important first decision they're going to make once they say, I've got an idea, is to investigate how best to file a patent. It makes or break them. And yes, there's a lot of, things out there. It's like, oh no, let somebody else pay for it. No, the only thing that gives you, the independent inventor, leverage is controlling the intellectual property. And when the government says, you own this, Mr. Inventor, now you can negotiate. You can tell somebody else this belongs to me. But there's so much that goes into it. They use this, alphabet salad, all right, for naming things, and poor inventors don't know what it means. So we want to be able to explain to people, yes, it's complicated. Yes, there's ways to get good answers. And yes, there is a strategy involved.
And what phase of the process that we need to consider that patent? Because you remember I talked about last week the stages. I said there was 4 stages or something, and you corrected me, and I forgot about the patent stage, right? I forgot the most important part. I forgot about it. And if I forget about it, maybe it's not important, but it's the most important part of the whole process.
It is for an independent inventor. And really, the search, is the first thing that an inventor should pay for. You go out, you do as much looking around as you can. And you think, maybe I've got some options here. Maybe I've really got something I can take to market. That independent comprehensive search is the first thing you spend money on. It's about $500, and it searches the entire world for patents, for products, everything that's been done, so that you now know the parameters. What can you claim as being independently yours? You know, what do you have to be careful of because you're infringing on somebody else? Getting a cease and desist is not any fun. So that's where you learn. And then when you have the search done, you can frame the conversation with the attorney. When the attorney has the search done, he gets to frame the conversation with you. You're paying the bill. You should get to be the framer.
That could be a serious problem if you hire the wrong patent attorney that's really, going to charge exorbitant fees, and all of a sudden, they're just trying to, suck the money from you. But you need a good patent attorney, right?
Exactly. And sometimes, a higher hourly rate just means they're driving a nicer car. It doesn't mean that they really got a better job done. Yeah. There's certain things that we look at, when I'm helping someone license their intellectual property, how is the patent constructed? Does it bump up against the other things that are there? And, there's a lot of attorneys that will just, say, oh, yeah, let's just file a design patent. No, and no again. A design patent is only two-dimensional, and it's really easy for someone to get around it. So where can we look then to get better intellectual property that gives then the inventor more leverage?
Well, it's called the Invent America show, and it's called the Invent America lady herself, because you have a roster of, I've met a couple at some of the trade shows, and but your list of experts are just astounding, and it's growing because the cream always, there's the saying, it's true. Cream always rises to the top, and your cream is at the top because you're attracting all these great lawyers and patent people and developers and prototyping people. I mean, you have your arsenal is the very best of the industry.
Well, thank you.
And they're coming aboard.
I better be learning something, right? I've been doing this for 20 years. So, we've learned, we've met some really good service providers. We've met some real scoundrels. So, we really try to help the inventors stay away from the bad guys. And I get so many inventors, it's like, I don't even know, I get all this junk mail. I don't know what's real and what's not real. And we had one lady, she wasn't paying attention to something. Oh, it was a requirement from the actual USPTO that had a deadline to it. And she didn't even realize it because she gets so much junk mail. So we help everybody understand, what's real, what's not real, what to watch for.
Well, the patent part is the most important part because at the end of the day, Rita, as you know, you have no protection. Right. Somebody can steal it, literally steal it.
Absolutely. And you don't need a patent to take a product to market. You need to make sure you're not infringing on somebody, but you can't negotiate unless you've got the patent. You can't tell somebody, I want to license this. They license the legal right to use something, not your idea. Yeah.
And you can get it stolen. Your technology can get stolen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to start with something, and the ability to negotiate and at least say, okay, the federal government, the USPTO says, this is mine. And if you don't have that, then you're just making something and getting it out there till somebody knocks it off. And then there's nothing you can do about it.
So what else we should know about patents, though, and why, and the dangers in a minute?
In a minute. Okay. So when you file the utility, people say utility, non-provisional. Inventors don't always realize that those are the same thing, basically. And so, however you're using the words and somebody says, oh, you need a non-provisional. If you've got a utility filed, you're covered, you're good, they're the same thing. If you file because you're running out of time, it doesn't mean you cannot make changes. You can absolutely make changes. You can change your patent attorney. FYI, it's pretty
all right. Easy. We're going to have to take a short break. I had to cut her off, the inventor lady. We are going to be right back here on the Invent America show. I'm the Cajun contractor, Michael King, the inventor lady herself, Rita Crompton. We'll be right back. Yeah, hey, y'all come back now, you hear?
guest today is going to be Jeff Kudas. All right. And Jeff is an amazing inventor and in the marketplace, manufacturing in America, which is you go, Jeff. All right. But I want to do our read in for this first segment. All of our segments have got a sponsor, and our sponsor of this segment is ATEC Washer. It's a revolutionary and innovative roofing product. They have been around since 1968. My goodness, can you believe it? Seal it right, seal it tight, ATEC Washer. So, Jeff, tell everybody what you invented.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for having me. Yeah, super excited to share. We actually reinvented the mailbox. We have a variety of solutions that meet a variety of applications, but they all surround package delivery.
Well, the big thing for inventors is the first, filing the intellectual property. What was your biggest challenge in filing the patent? What did you learn that was like, wow, didn't see that one coming?
Honestly, Rita, this is all very new to me. They were the first patents for anything I've ever invented. I'm not a serial inventor, I'm more of a small business survivor. So when it came time to, understand if this was, something I want to do, for the last piece of my career here, I really wanted to apply myself to something that I could really sink my teeth into. I looked at this mailbox idea that I had, and I started searching around, just like you mentioned earlier in the show, trying to understand, do some homework. What else is out there? Is it really, there really aren't any new ideas, right? But maybe there's some old ideas that we could, polish and improve. And that's when I recognized a hole in the marketplace for this package delivery safe. And I'll tell you, it's just been so exciting. We've been recognized with a product category. We've been told we've created a whole new product category. And these landscape design folks have really noticed that they believe that we've got something that's probably as cool for their industry as anything has been since the outdoor kitchen. So if you can imagine, it's just such a thrill to be where we are right now and to have the IP that we have established, for this opportunity and privilege.
Well, congratulations. I know it's a big deal to, have that idea and really run with it, to just figure it out and say, okay, we've got something. And so for you guys, MB Sentinel is the name of your product. But like you said, it's a mailbox. Everybody's got a mailbox. And yours is a secure type of mailbox, so people can't drive by and steal your mail.
Well, you bet, Rita. And that's a correction. MB Sentinel is actually the name of our company, MB Sentinel. Our product names are quite unique, though. You can find us, Box Gobbler is our hero product. And that's a product. We have a lot of quirky names, for different products that make sense. The Box Gobbler is suitable for residential, but MB Sentinel is our company name. Then we have other model names underneath, like Box Sentinel, Mailbox Sentinel. Anytime you look at our company and you try to understand, well, which product's right for me? Well, if you need mail and package delivery, you'll have mail and box in the name of the product. So Mailbox Sentinel, hence package and mail. If it's just for package only, it just has the word box in it. So it's a very simple product. Just takes a little bit to understand.
Well, I think your name is excellent, MB. I understood that was, I just wanted you to explain it, that it was mailbox,
Yep.
so that our listeners would understand, different things that they can go and search for to find you. So if they go and they search for MB Sentinel, they will find you. Your website officially is?
mbsentinel.com.
There you go. There you go. Where are you manufacturing?
We manufacture in Stephenville, Texas.
Okay.
We're 100% vertically integrated, minus the powder coating, which is done right across the street, and that's why we're here.
How did you decide not to go to China?
Honestly, it just wasn't in my heart to go there. And number one, when you're trying to, bootstrap a company, it's not like I could afford to buy this by the container anyway. So, when you start trying to develop anything, my first recommendation is it's not really about the cost of what you're trying to develop. That's all goes into the scope of everything, right? But you're gonna have to understand, well, how am I going to grow this business? And before I develop traction, I don't need 100 of these that I'm sitting on. And then things change through iterations. So we decided, we just wanted to start developing the product with third-party manufacturing. And we recognized that we could actually, carry a price point high enough that people would be willing to pay for it. And we could actually, bring the product to fruition in time. And hopefully through vertically integration of our company, which we've accomplished, we're able to, bring the margins back, in-house. So it's there's quite a few different ways that you can work to accomplish these things. I understand there's a lot of inventors. I mean, to have the resources to do this it can be very challenging, as it is for most everyone. But that's why, hence, the licensing opportunities are often a great solution for some of these inventors. And then it's always, very challenging to understand, well, how well can I be protected, with my IP if I license my products? And it's just, as you know, being the inventor lady, there's a lot of complexities to that. And it's just nice to have you here as a resource, Rita, to help us.
Well, thank you. And it's wonderful to meet inventors, at early stage where they say, I have an idea. And it's wonderful to meet inventors that's been in the marketplace for a while and can share some of their successes, what they've learned, because you're the most valuable resource to another inventor when they're saying, how do I find this? Where do I look? And so we've put together, a pretty comprehensive list of different resources. But a lot of our inventors are looking at bringing, especially when they're just getting started, to, the American shores. They want to be able to say made in America.
Sure. And it goes a couple of different ways. It depends, do you want to sell your product completely here in America, or do you envision selling your product outside the States at some point also? So when you're considering, developing the IP for it, it's very important to understand if you want to develop that internationally, there are patents that you'll need to file, for those international applications oftentimes in order to secure them internationally. If you just go to market here in the States, you could likely secure them in the States, but then you close doors. So there's a lot of little nuances, lots of homework to do. And there's never a stupid question. If anybody ever wants to understand my product experience or my IP, journey, I'd be happy to share, those nuances with them. They can find me on LinkedIn, Jeff Kudis, or just find MB Sentinel. Find your way to LinkedIn, and you'll find that we've got our patents listed there. But always happy to help people with questions.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know that other folks out there appreciate it as well. So if you're out there and you are an inventor, you think you want to be an inventor, or someone in your family, friend, neighbor, work, have them get in touch with us, because we can have you join the Inventors Roundtable. It's an open conversation, a roundtable discussion. So we allow inventors then, at any stage to get on and either ask questions or contribute. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back with our next segment. And we've got an inventor who's just getting started, and she's going to share some of what she's learned and some of what she's facing. So stay with us, everybody. We will be right back with the next segment of Invent America. And thanks so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. We love to solve the problems, and we do it very well. My guest right now is Brandon Kollar, but first I want to do our sponsor information. This segment is brought to you by Bond Products. If you've got a fraying carpet, fraying rug, you know what? You got kids, you got dogs, you got animals, husbands. Anybody out there who could be running equipment over that rug, and you need to fix it, bondproducts.com. So Brandon, thanks so much for being with us this afternoon. We are grateful.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Rita.
So tell our listeners, what did you invent?
Sure. So during the shutdown, I actually made a product to help people put together an AR-15 pistol or rifle, because I had requests from friends, neighbors, and customers, because I'm a competitive shooter on the weekends. My favorite hobby is teaching and instructing people. And so I wasn't happy with the products that were out there. So I actually invented my own from scratch, got it on market, worked on a patent, went through all the different steps of inventing, packaging, shipping. And now, luckily, I've sold over 3,000 units. I'm still trying to get into 100 stores. And then actually I'm at the timing period that I'm trying to buy additional equipment. And then my marketing contract I had is up. I had a 2-year exclusive. So now I'm actually reaching back out to old customers and people that were right on the fence to say, hey, there's some additional margins here to work with, and there's just new horizons. So it's a new start to the end of the year.
Well, excellent, excellent. A new start to the end of, I'm assuming, your business year, because, we still are only in June.
It's just mainly because my marketing exclusive's up. So it was up in April. So then it kind of, it changed the ball game for me.
So what did you learn that was good, bad, and ugly in the intellectual property realm?
I wish I would have spent the more money previously on the design patent. You could have paid to be expedited. And if I would have spent the additional money, it wouldn't have taken the 2.5 years, because from doing different webinars and reading different things and watching YouTube videos, a lot of people are saying, hey, the design patent is one of the fastest ways to go, and you can get that granted. So that's what I actually worked with a company and filed my design patent. And then during the shutdown and waiting on things to happen and talking to my, I don't want to call him a casework, I'd have to look up at my application. And then I actually went to a big inventors expo, and there was a couple people from the USPTO there. So I said, hey, can you check on this? And so they actually put me in contact with it. And I thought, oh, hey, this is going to save it. I'll be done in 3 months. And it was still another year and 3 months after that. But at least when I got to talk to someone internally, and then I also thought it was funny because I would ask them and say, hey, so you're telling me if I expedite my next one, I'll actually get it done before this one? And they're like, yes. And I thought that was crazy, of something I had already submitted, that I could pay extra money tomorrow and get the newest one done that's not even been spoken of yet. So that was something interesting with the intellectual property of, I wish I would have paid for the expedition.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you learn after the fact, and then it's too late to fix it. We always say, filing your own intellectual property is like doing your own brain surgery. By the time you realize you've made a mistake, it's too late to fix it. And so when, you're exactly right. With the USPTO, you can pay for almost anything and everything more money. So you pay if you're older, you pay extra if you wanted them to hurry up. You pay if you miss a deadline. You can pay for almost anything that any other country doesn't allow.
One thing I was surprised about is, like, I was really like looking forward to my patent ribbon and everything in the mail. And then I'm like, oh, you actually have to pay extra for this. Oh, and you actually have to pay extra for the, I think they call it the execution fee or something. It was $33. It was very small, but I'm like, why was that not in the initial thing? I guess, granted, if not everyone's going to get theirs granted or awarded, so why build in an extra $33? But I'm like, I really thought I was all said and done. And it's like, oh, another credit card.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's you pay to submit it. You pay for different things during the process. Fortunately, if they send you back an office action, you don't have to pay to resubmit it. But then they say, okay, your patent is issued, but there's a notice of allowance fee. So if you actually, want it to issue, you have to pay them another fee. Fortunately, I think it was back right around 2013 that they came up with the micro status. So, you've got business status, small business status, and then micro status. Which has been great for the independent inventor. It kind of bites if you're an inventor that's got, more than 3, because as soon as you hit that 4, you don't always realize you're jumping now to the small business status.
Completely agree.
It's always a learning experience. When you work for a company that's got a full-time patent attorney on board, they tell you all these things. When you're the little and independent inventor and you're just getting a product out there, you don't always know these. You don't even know the questions to ask.
Or the documents have to, in the format it has to be. There's all kinds of fun aspects with it.
Oh, absolutely. So anyway, that is what we try to do, is to help inventors understand, options. What are the things that you should be asking? And it really makes a difference on, the success of getting it through the steps. The worst thing is when you get a notice of abandonment because you didn't know that something was missing.
I'm glad I haven't had to deal with that yet. I actually hired a patent agent in my case for my first one, because I wanted it to be thorough and I needed help with the line drawings. And a few other things. Like I submitted my provisional patent on my own. That was pretty easy and actually done at 11:59 at night before the day of a trade show the next day. But
You know, we had a gentleman, he did his own provisional so that he could then have his prototype reviewed so that he could redo then a new provisional that was bigger and stronger, but he wanted to be able to say patent pending. So there's a lot of different strategies out there, and you've got to be very much aware of what options can work and what options turn around and bite you.
I completely agree.
So, you know, when you look at, you know, you filed a trademark.
Just a design patent. I had looked into the trademark. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. So you didn't file your trademark. All right. So do you use then the TM by all of your names?
I haven't yet. I've just used my company logo that I have, and then I put patented on my product because my product's actually been patented.
Right. So when, you know, I'll get inventors that ask me about filing a trademark, and it's like you can use the little symbol for TM. All right. And it's kind of the poor man's "this is mine." And everybody uses the TM until their attorney files the registered mark for them. And then it's only then that you can use the R, but that can be, you know, another year and a half, 2 years that you're using the TM. And nobody really knows out there when you use the TM whether or not you filed or not filed.
Agreed. I'm thankful it's not that expensive though either, because it does look more professional when you're doing a logo or a product that you've got that additional marking with it.
Oh, it does. Absolutely. And, you know, so in the meantime, when you've got something that is yours and you want to be able to go out there and say, "This is mine," use that little TM symbol, because basically you're saying, "This is mine. I love it." So
I'm on board.
So, you know, when you're going through the steps and looking at, you know, broadening your marketplace, we want to be able to talk about getting out there. Are you selling anything internationally yet?
No, I have looked on my webpage to see who's viewed me, and I've had things from Germany, I've had things from Ireland, and then I've shipped our entire country. So I've shipped things to Hawaii, I've shipped things to whole of Alaska. So it's entertaining to see where orders are coming from, and then of course, like where my website's being viewed from. So I've looked at the international thing, and then actually when I was at a giant trade show, I got invited to come to Istanbul to work on a shotgun product for them that was just going to be a copy of my product just for theirs, and kind of like looking into that and researching how that would work out. And is it then my product? Is it underneath them? So it's led me to bigger things as well.
So, well, that is all really interesting. I'm sure that we will have you on again to talk more about, you know, that international dance and what you can do. But thank you for being with us. Stay with us, everyone, so that, that we can hear a little bit more about that challenge of intellectual property. We will be right back after we've paid some bills. Everyone, and thank you so much for being with us this afternoon for this session of Invent America, because America invents. We have for generations, and we will continue to problem solve and take those solutions to the marketplace. And in the beginning, all right, there is always a challenge with intellectual property. So we're going to get a little bit more into those details. But I wanted to let you know that this segment is brought to you by Trimislab. If you need to replace rotten or missing wood from part of a driveway, a deck, a sidewalk, anything like that, Trimislab installs incredibly fast, looks great, and it can be removed when necessary. Trimislab.com for any of those wood fixes outdoors. All right, so Mr. Baraska, all right, you have been an attorney for a long time. You are the senior partner. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I've had a very diverse career as a lawyer. Everything from medical devices to advertising in New York to forest products to ending up my stint as in-house counsel with Procter & Gamble in their consumer products business. And then lastly, during the late 90s and early 2000s, I worked in Silicon Valley with a law firm that had just gotten into the Valley kind of late in the game.
Help our listeners understand, why is intellectual property so challenging?
First of all, one of the things that the audience needs to understand is that when a lawyer is a patent lawyer, what people call a patent lawyer, it doesn't mean that they're like every other lawyer. They are a breed unto themselves. Not only must they go to law school and then pass the bar exam, but then they have to pass another bar exam, and they can only do so if they have a scientific background. So when you look at the process of preparing a patent, it is an art form. And in order for someone to be able to understand it and do it well, they have to have that kind of training and that kind of background. Otherwise, there are major blind spots that they could easily miss.
You know, it's so true. I tell inventors, it's like a good patent is a work of art. It's a standalone, independent work of art, like a Monet. It's unique, and it's unique to your product and how it bumps up against the other intellectual property that's already out there.
That's right.
And so when they say, oh, well, I took a class on Saturday morning, it's like, no, you know, those people have spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting the right education on how to be a registered patent attorney. And it's not something that you learn in a class on a Saturday morning.
That's right. And when I hear inventors who have gone through the patent prosecution
Pro se.
course,
Yeah.
what I often hear is they don't really understand that what patent prosecution is really all about is trying to claim as much intellectual property geography as you possibly can. And that's what I think you're referring to when you say bump up against. You
Right.
really want to get as much of the landscape that you can possibly acquire, because that's what will ensure the inability of your competitors to basically infringe and easily get away with the infringement.
Exactly. I mean, I tell inventors, it's like the biggest problem that we have when an inventor files pro se, it means they're doing it themselves, is that they see what it is and they write what they see. And that means it's going to be too narrow. Whereas the artistry is to bump up against the other things that are out there, so somebody can't squeeze in with something that's a little bit different than yours and say, oh yeah, this is mine now. And it truly is a talent, a gift that, you know, people have for doing that bump basically of geography. And most inventors don't understand it. And that's why we have registered patent attorneys.
That's right. And also, something else that inventors need to understand is that when you file by yourself, you really do need to do it by yourself. Because if somebody who is unregistered is helping you do whatever it is you need to do in order to file that application, guess what? You're no longer pro bono, and your patent can be invalidated. So having people help you prepare your pro bono or pro se application won't necessarily protect your patent. Only a registered patent attorney can actually walk you through that process and ensure that your patent will not be challenged and will be upheld to be valid, at least insofar as the grant of the patent itself.
So how do inventors, where can they go to learn? Because there's a lot to learn that will help you make better decisions. And, so that when they sit down then with their attorney, they are not being educated by the attorney and paying the hourly rate, but they know the good questions to ask. Where do they go? How do they find out?
Well, there are a lot of inventor groups across the United States. I think the key for most of them is to make sure that the people in the group or running the group truly have the interests of the inventor at heart. That it's not really just a feeding frenzy where people are being taken advantage of, where inventors are being taken advantage of. So being really careful about checking out the inventor group that you join is critical. And once you've located a group, the beauty of it is that you have other inventors who can actually give you sometimes advice that's even better than what the professionals are able to give you because they've walked through the process. Sometimes they'll give you distorted advice as well, and you need to check that with people who know what they're talking about. But the combination of vetted service providers and really good serial type inventors provides a huge amount of value for a newbie inventor starting out and trying to navigate what is a very, very difficult process from beginning to end.
Well, it is certainly complicated. And a couple of things that I tell inventors, ask if the attorney uses a template, because that'll get thrown out. The templates are awful. Anybody can circle the words that were filled in. And what is their estimate, their hourly, what are you looking at as far as the total expense? Because that can vary. And an attorney that's more expensive, sometimes it just means that they're driving a nicer car. It doesn't necessarily mean you got a better patent. So anyway, Ray, thanks so much for being with us today. I am sure that I will have inventors getting in touch with me and asking some questions, and we are grateful for your input. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.